It's me, Alex, a stay-at-home reader, and I think we're due for a weekend reading vlog. So it's Friday, 5:30. I got to get water bottles filled and head out to Owen's baseball game. But let's go get, I look like this, so let's go get fixed and you can hang out with me for the weekend and hopefully I get some reading in. Of course baseball, but hopefully a good amount of reading. A little bit better. All right, so we're gonna go pick up dinner, pick up Oliver from batting practice, and then head to Owen's game. And I'll do my voiceover thing that I like to do and fill you in on what I'm reading this weekend. I'm going to throw a Storygraph screenshot up here for you. So the books I'm currently reading, focusing on, this is almost accurate. I'm going to focus on listening to my audiobook, which is A Dog's Heart by Mikhail Bulgakov. I'm going to try to read all of Woodworm by Layla Martinez. I need to get started on Jaws for book club and probably read some more of the short stories from the history of sound. Hi, happy Saturday. So last night Owen's team won their game. It's a really hard field to be a spectator at. It was weird, so not much in terms of clips. Not that you're here for baseball, but now I'm on my way out to Oliver's game. In any downtime today, I am going to read Woodworm by Layla Martinez. I've only read the first chapter so far and really enjoyed it. Karen recommended this as a weird book, and I love weird books. I love books where the house is a character, and that seems to be the case here. Don't really know where this is going yet. So instead of a synopsis, I will give you a bookish math problem. So Wormwood by Layla Martinez is equal to the sum of White is for Witching plus We Have Always Lived in the Castle raised to the power of n, where n equals Latin American magical realism. Probably all divided by Encanto. How's that? But first we have to get to the game, so on the drive over, I have the car to myself. Nate took the kids. He went to go pick up another player. Owen went with them. So I get audiobook time, and I'm going to listen to A Dog's Heart by Mikhail Bulgakov, author of The Master and Margarita, which is on my shelf. Have not tried yet. I'm surprised by the kind of humor in this. Again, don't know exactly what's going on. It opens with a stray dog being mistreated. So, content warning for animal abuse. And then he gets picked up by this like weird, wealthy, I guess powerful man. He seems to be a doctor performing surgeries in an apartment. It's a very short book, so this will go towards Shorty September goals. I think this is going to go into Frankenstein territory. Dr. Moreau, I think more Frankenstein than Moreau, but we just had a woman come see the doctor and lie about her age, and then he was like, you know what? he does an exam. He goes, I'm going to give you the ovaries of a monkey. And she said, a monkey? And he said, a monkey. So I'm going to go listen to that on the drive over. I'm still not sure if it's more Moreau or Frankenstein, but it's definitely along those veins. This book is hilarious. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I'm sure there's a commentary in there regarding the Russian Revolution and Marxism, but that's above me. The science is like in the veins of Moreau and Frankenstein. It's flawed. It is entertainment only. But they took human seminal vesicles and put them in a dog, and then in a later operation put a human pituitary gland into the dog's brain, and now the dog is changing into a human and learning language, and like his physiology is changing, where he's standing upright and he's starting to spit out like curses and nonsensical words and just like laugh at objects. And we're getting this through the doctor's case notes. It's bizarre but hilarious, and I will definitely be deep diving for like an analysis of what the hell is going on here. So reading check-in, not much has been read since I last checked in with what I had listened to so far in The Heart of a Dog. I listened to a few more minutes of it this morning before going to Owen's games, and it's definitely Frankenstein-y, and I did a little bit of like Google search and a quick YouTube search. It is definitely criticizing the Russian Communist Revolution. It was written in 1925. But that political history and knowledge is like above me, and I'll probably do some more reading on that. What I always find engaging and entertaining is the discussions of humanity and what makes a person, and that kind of theme, which is definitely present in this book. I think another topic I saw mentioned as something it explores is eugenics, which is just another word for bullshit. So I find that entertaining. And like I said, it's just written with this sort of satirical humor that I really appreciate. So I still have maybe an hour and a half, maybe slightly left of that audiobook to listen to. I'm listening to it at, I think, 1.2 speed through Scribd. Have not made much progress in Woodworm, I think. I will always want to say the opposite. I don't know. Haven't made much progress. I feel like I just really want to focus on it, and so picking it up while I'm surrounded by distraction is just not working. And so hopefully during the week, while the kids are taking care of their homeschool assignments, or we actually have a pretty busy week, but I'm thinking I'm going to abandon hopes of finishing it this weekend, especially since it's already like 5 p.m. on Sunday, and just pick it up during the week, quiet time where I can focus on the kind of haunting, absurd, weirdness of it that I'm really enjoying for the little that I have read. And now this came in the mail. So I'm going to spend the rest of the evening reading this. As you see, I'm taking notes. This is a reread. So I definitely am reflecting on it, probably more nitpicky and more like picking up on the introduction of themes that I know will play larger parts later in the book. So I'm able to take notes. I've decided to keep a tally of all the times that I'm offended by the book, because the writing is offensive. 1974, wealthy white man. I think you can expect a certain level of like chauvinistic, racist, homophobic writing. But now I'm trying to pay extra attention as to whether he's using offensive language purposefully. Like, is it coming from characters we're supposed to think a certain way about? And there was something about the dialogue that reminded me of Stephen King. And then as I had this thought about whether the racism, the homophobia, just all the offensive language has a purpose or some sort of intentionality, I got to think, I'm not the biggest Stephen King, and not at all a Stephen King reader, but I know that he gets excused a lot by his fans for writing characters that use racist language or problematic language, and it's not him, it's his characters. And so I know he gets a lot of leeway. And so I'm thinking we may have to afford Peter Benchley that same level of analysis. Yeah. Technically, this book is not within Shorty September range. I mean, this edition is the 50th anniversary edition, and so it has some bonus materials. But I think the novel itself comes in like just over 300 pages. I know there's leeway into what can be counted for shorty September. Like, it's basically what you can read in a short amount of time. So I've decided, since I have to get this finished by Wednesday, and I have read it before, so that should speed up the reading process, I'm going to go ahead and count this for shorty September. Yeah, because the rules were made to be, if not broken, at least bent a little. So I'm going to jump back into reading now. And I am also going to extend this vlog into Monday because I want to. Hi, it is Tuesday evening at this point. So I guess this is going to turn into a week-long vlog. I'll probably just check in as I finish stuff. I'm about halfway through Jaws. I am taking so many notes. My book club meeting is Thursday this month instead of the usual Wednesday. So I have an extra day to get it through, but I'm already halfway through. And I freaking love this book. I know a lot of people say that this is like the rare example of the movie being better than the book, but I disagree. I think people know the movie and enjoy the movie, nostalgia's sake, cult classic, whatever. So they go from movie to book and want the same experience. And the book does so much more than the movie does. The movie's a very surface level thriller, I guess horror, like gory, just summertime movie. And the book has so many more discussions about class and personal insecurities, and I'm getting a lot of like people trying to control nature, or like the struggle of man versus nature, like who can overpower. There's obviously the recycling of like the Jonah and the whale story. It's basically a version, a more modern Moby Dick. It's a similar story to The Old Man and the Sea, just that like the struggle. And what I loved about it the first time, and is really striking out now, so like now I can pick up more along the way since this is a reread, but there is so much layered within the text that has to do with tensions between classes and capitalism kind of not being in the best interest of the people, but you know, worried more about the economy than the people during a state of crisis. And so reading this in a, not necessarily post, in a COVID, in a pandemic society, there's this meme that I had found the first time I read it a few years ago that was basically like, the shark is COVID and Hooper is Fauci and the mayor is Trump. Like there was just this like this, the shark story really parallels to how our society responded to the threat of a pandemic. And so it's a really, really fun read, which obviously an unintentional metaphor, because how would he have known? But it's fun to read it that way now as a reader in 2020 through 2024. I think I read it in 2021 the first time, or two. I finished, speaking of metaphor, I finished A Dog's Heart, and I get what it was doing. I have done some further reading, watching some more analysis, and so I get that the book in its entirety is a metaphor for the communist revolution in Russia. I get that the dog is supposed to represent the proletariat class, being at the bottom of society and being all of a sudden given autonomy and given self-awareness and given comforts, and for the first time not being on the streets but being in a nice apartment, and how the dog got like too big for his britches and turned on the doctor who had given him all this stuff, and that the experiment in general, that the surgery that the dog underwent is a metaphor for the revolution itself, for this like social or political experiment, and that the doctor is supposed to represent the elite class, the intelligentsia. I get it from a metaphorical perspective, and it is impressive in that way how the story is told to parallel the real political environment, so much so that the book was banned. Manuscripts and journals were taken from bookclub. But in terms of personal alignment and agreeing with the messaging of the story, I think it gets pretty icky. It's tricky because it's, to me, a little icky. I'm one to not side with the upper class. So I think part of what he's trying to get across in terms of messaging, I'm just not receptive to. Funny, Oliver had a choice of 3 audiobooks to start. Yesterday we attended a field trip at a history museum that was about 45 minutes away, so we had good audiobook time, and he picked Animal Farm. So big Russian Revolution themes going on right now. And like, yeah, I asked Oliver, we got about halfway through the audiobook between the ride there and the ride home. So we got halfway through Animal Farm, and I was like, so thoughts, like first reactions, like as we go, like what are you thinking? And he just looks at me, goes, Napoleon bad. So that's it. Animal Farm basically summed up in 2 words. But okay, dinner now. I'm gonna make rice. Ooh, I spilled some rice. I'm gonna make rice and chickpeas in a peanut butter stir-fry sauce. So unfortunately I don't have an audiobook to listen to while I cook, so I guess YouTube it is.
She's carrying it into the woods. That's not Kaye, that's Go.
I finished the book, I finished Jaws, and I just parked at book club now. I'm dressed appropriately for the evening, and not only did I bring my very very annotated copy of the book. I also brought the 45th anniversary Life magazine Jaws edition. So final look at my book, all those notes, and I think I gave it 4 stars last time I read it, and now reading it more critically, I think it's a really smart book, and I'm giving it 5 stars. 5 stars because it's a reread, and I think I had an even better time reading it than the first time, partly because there was no shock factor. The affair scene is shocking, and I was, like I said earlier, much more discerning regarding where the offensive material is coming from, and I do think it's intentional. So all that said, I am of the minority opinion that the book is better than the movie. Most people love the movie, and if not hate the book, will say that this is one of the rare cases where the movie is better. Not for me. I love the book. I think the book is really smart, where the movie is just an easily digestible, sensational piece of entertainment. I'm gonna guess that people were seeing the movie before they were getting to the book, and at that point the enjoyment of the movie is what they wanted, and I think the book maybe gets considered almost as a weird novelization of the movie instead of the movie being thought of as a watered down, commercialized adaptation of the book. That's what I think.
Тут я смотрю на мордо-белое пятно. Откуда спрашивается?
Козам удалены семенные железы и гипофиз собаки, и вместо них пересажены железы и гипофиз, взятые от скончавшегося мужчины. Показания к операции. Постановка опыта для выяснения вопроса о приживательности гипофиза и о его влиянии на омоложение. Оперировал профессор Преображенский, ассистировал доктор Провенталь. Профессор Преображенского раскрыл одну из тайн человеческого мозга. Отныне загадочная функция гипофиза разъяснена. Скальпель хирурга вызвал к жизни новую человеческую единицу.
So, hi, it's Saturday afternoon already. It's time to wrap up this vlog because I could just keep going, and nobody needs that. So thank you for spending what turned out to be a whole week with me. We read Jaws, we listened to A Dog's Heart, we watched The Heart of a Dog, which is the TV movie adaptation, and we started this Woodworm. I'm going to continue with this now, but I'm going to end the vlog here, and I will just come back with a Shorty September wrap up, and I will give you thoughts on this one. But thank you for watching, and I hope your September reading went great. Bye!